Traces of kisses under her chin. That's the first thing I see. The club lights strobe across her skin, painting shadows and curves I'd known for years. Yet tonight they feel like secrets. I'm standing near the bar, half hidden by a group of 20-somethings celebrating something pointless. My beer bottle dangles from my fingertips, cold and wet, but I can't seem to bring it to my lips. Because all I can see is her, Catherine "Cat" Harrington, my wife, still wearing my last name, pressed close to him. I can't even remember stepping inside this neon-lit room. It's like I woke up mid-nightmare. A swirl of perfume, cologne, and spilled whiskey blankets the air, making me lightheaded. I realize my teeth are clenched so hard my jaw trembles. I want to open my mouth, scream, demand, "Cat, what the hell is this?" But the words won't come. I can't even move. My pulse hammers in my ears, drowning out the heavy bass track pounding through the club's speakers. The man with her, Travis Mitchell, leans closer, breathing something into her ear. She arches her neck. That's when I see the faint smudges of lipstick, or maybe skin-on-skin contact, just below her jaw. Traces of kisses. My stomach knots until I feel sick. And I do nothing. I should turn my back, leave, run outside, and pretend this never happened. But I'm riveted. A numbness creeps into my fingertips as my grip on the bottle loosens. It slips, shattering on the floor. The noise is lost in the surge of laughter and shouting around me. A guy in a black t-shirt steps back, curses at the broken glass near his shoes. But I'm staring ahead, ignoring him, ignoring everything except the sight of my wife. My wife, draped around a man who's not me. He touches her chin and tilts her face toward his. They exchange a look that sends a chill through my spine. It's a look of hunger, of something raw and immediate, something I can't remember seeing in her eyes for a while. Has she ever looked at me that way? Did I stop looking first, or did she? My breathing grows ragged. I catch glimpses of them between shifting silhouettes on the dance floor. The pounding music surges, and the lights flicker like lightning. I'm not sure if I'm even blinking. Someone jostles me, and I stumble, nearly stepping on the broken glass at my feet. My chest tightens as if I can't inhale fully, as if each breath might slice me open. I watch Travis slip an arm around her waist, his hand splayed confidently against the small of her back. She doesn't resist. She doesn't even look around. He guides her to a booth in the corner, half hidden behind velvet ropes. My vision tunnels, focusing on the sway of her hips under that tight black skirt. She used to save that skirt for date nights with me. Do I confront them? Or do I hang back like some pathetic spy, soaking in the proof of her betrayal? A million questions crowd my head, and I'm terrified of every single answer. I realize the bouncer is eyeing me from the other side of the bar, probably thinking I'm either drunk or about to start trouble. Maybe I'm both. I push through the crowd toward them. But by the time I reach the roped-off section, I only catch a final glimpse of Cat and Travis gliding out a side door. She doesn't look back, has no reason to suspect I'm here. Or maybe she wouldn't care if she knew. My hands are shaking. Heat flares behind my eyes, a white-hot anger that's tangled with heartbreak. I want to bury my fist in Travis's jaw, want to grab her by the shoulders and demand an explanation. But the moment's passed. All I can do is stand there in the swirl of pulsing lights and watch her vanish into the night at another man's side. I manage to leave the club, though I'm not aware of my feet hitting the sidewalk. Everything feels unreal, as though I've stepped into some dark parallel dimension. Outside, the cold air bites at my face. The Valley Stand's neon sign flickers. I see a row of expensive cars, any of which could be his. Where did they go? And what would I even do if I found them? My phone buzzes in my pocket. Probably a telemarketer or a late-night email from the bank. I'm too stunned to answer. I swallow the lump in my throat and hail a cab. Once inside, I sink into the seat, heart pounding. The driver glances back at me in the rearview mirror, asking where to. I give him my address, reciting it automatically. but my mind is stuck on the way her hips molded against his, on the tender spot beneath her chin where I used to kiss her goodnight. Why? I whisper to the night, to no one. My reflection in the window is pale, eyes wide with disbelief. Why didn't she talk to me if she was unhappy? Why not just leave before sneaking around with another man? And the scariest question of all, why do I feel guilty? Like I caused this. I arrive home, or rather, the house we share. It's eerily quiet, the living room lamp on the timer, casting a warm glow that mocks the coldness in my chest. I toss my keys on the kitchen counter. Kat's coat is still on the hook. Her mail is in a neat pile next to the fruit bowl. Everything looks normal. But the normalcy is a lie. I pace the hallway, toeing off my shoes. I want to phone her, to confirm what I'd just seen, but that would imply I didn't believe my own eyes. My throat is tight. I wander into the bedroom and pause in front of the dresser mirror. My reflection is the image of a man who's lost something vital. My hair is mussed, my tie undone. A bruise is forming in my mind. Invisible, but it hurts. In a daze, I open the closet. Something tugs at my memory. It's that shirt I once found in Kat's car. An oversized men's button-down that wasn't mine. She brushed it off as a coworker's. He forgot it after the charity run. She had said, eyes flicking away. I believed her. Or I told myself I believed her, because the alternative felt too awful to contemplate. But here I am, with the alternative slicing through my reality like a rusted knife. I catch a glimpse of my camera bag in the corner, half buried under old sweaters. An urge seizes me. Record everything. Gather proof. Because if I'm going to confront Kat about her affair, I need evidence. I need to see her face when she can't deny it. This is how twisted I've become. I'm turning my own pain into a need for documentation. I don't remember when I fall asleep. All I know is that I jolt awake just before dawn to the sound of my phone pinging. A single text from Kat. I'll be home later. That's it. No explanation, no apology. Just a statement, like we're distant roommates. I stare at the words, my heart pounding with fresh anger. Then I get dressed, slip my camera into a shoulder strap, and drive to the bank for my shift. The normalcy of my job stings me. I open new accounts, advise retirees on their savings. I hold a pen and sign forms. And all the while, I replay the club scene in my head, over and over, my heart twisting until I feel physically ill. Days pass in a slow, excruciating crawl. Kat, and I barely speak. When I ask questions, I'm met with silence. She looks at me with a mixture of guilt and defiance, as though daring me to ask more. At night, I lie awake, listening to the rustle of sheets as she turns away from me. There are times I reach out, wanting to touch her shoulder, wanting her to face me so I can demand or beg or cry. But every time, my hand stops short. My pride, or maybe my fear, holds me back. I discover more signs. She leaves the house at odd hours. Her phone buzzes with messages she never shares. She's changed her perfume. Something heavier, more musky. Sometimes I find receipts for expensive dinners at places we've never been. Once, I opened the glove compartment in her car to find a stray earring that definitely isn't hers. My question-laden stare is met with a dismissive shrug. I'm losing my mind. And the worst part is, I feel responsible. Had I become so dull, so lifeless, that she needed to find excitement elsewhere? Did I fail her somehow? My guilt, though irrational, throbs constantly. I see her checking her reflection in the mirror before going out, applying lipstick in a shade she never wore for me. She's slipping away, and I don't know how to stop it. Maybe I don't know if it's even worth saving. One evening, she comes home with a glossy bag from some designer store. A new set of jewelry sparkles against her neck, silver and pearl, nothing I've ever given her. She catches me staring and just arches her brows. I open my mouth to confront her, to beg, to fight, but she closes her lips tightly and walks away, heading straight for the shower. When she steps out, steam trailing behind her, she's wearing a man's shirt. I recognize the crisp collar, the expensive cut. Another piece of Travis's presence in my home. My home. She stands in front of me, hair damp, eyes flickering with challenge, or maybe fear. I can't tell. I want to shout, but the words lodge in my throat. We've done this silent routine so often, it's become normal. Her only reaction is a sardonic little smile. I try one last time to speak. Cat. Why? She remains mute, but her gaze is louder than any words. It says, "You already know. Stop asking." It's midnight when I set up the camera on the tripod in our bedroom. I do it methodically, like an engineer constructing a device. The lens points to our bed. My plan is to see, really see, how love dies. Or maybe I just want to watch myself die. Piece by piece. I hit record and climb into bed, fully clothed, heart hammering against my ribs. A sick part of me imagines she'll come home with him tonight, waltz right in as though I don't exist. Then I'll have my damning footage. But she doesn't come home until much later, alone. She tiptoes in, sees the camera, but says nothing. Her lips are pursed, and she goes straight to the bathroom. When she emerges, she's wearing his shirt again. She climbs into bed silently, turning her back to me. Every nerve in my body screams, but I remain still, forcing myself to watch the blinking red light. I'm half hoping for some big confrontation, but we both lie there, unmoving. The camera records hours of emptiness, a husband and wife in a king-sized bed, neither sleeping, neither speaking. In the morning, I watch the footage, skipping forward. I freeze the frame at certain moments, noticing how her face looks haunted, as if she's trapped and doesn't know how to escape. Where is the carefree woman I married? The woman who used to laugh at my clumsy dance moves or snuggle up to me during thunderstorms. The camera captures her eyes, wide and uncertain, in those dark hours when she thinks I'm asleep. It sends a sharp ache through my chest. She doesn't look in love. She looks afraid. Afraid of what? Me. Herself. The truth. Not long after that, the phone call comes. My phone rings, and an unfamiliar male voice says, "Hey man, I left Kat's bra at your place. Can you pass it along?" Every muscle in my body tenses. I stare at the phone, unsure if I've heard correctly. The voice is casual, as if we're buddies discussing some borrowed tool. The voice belongs to Travis. The rage inside me swells, but no words come out. I just breathe. In, out, in, out. He repeats, "Hello? You there?" I end the call without a sound. My arm trembles, clutching the phone so hard my knuckles turn white. The realization that he has the audacity to call me, to speak so casually about something so vile, pushes me to a breaking point. It's one thing to suspect. It's another to have it shoved in your face. Later that day, I find the offending item in my sock drawer, of all places. A lacy bra that definitely isn't hers, or maybe it is, but it's new, something I've never seen. My mouth is dry. My stomach churns. Quietly, I set it on the bed. Then, without a single word, I bring it to Kat when she gets home. I hold it out like an accusation. She flicks her gaze down, sees the bra, and her expression tightens into a mask of shame or anger. But again, not a word leaves her lips. The tension escalates. My mind is a tangled mess of pity, fury, and heartbreak. One moment, I want to comfort her, to believe we can fix this if we just talk. The next moment, I'm certain I hate her. I can't decide if I'm more furious with Travis, or with her, or with myself. And all the while, I'm feeling the sting of guilt, like if I had been man enough, she wouldn't have strayed. I decide to confront the situation head-on. I wait in the living room for her to come home from whatever late-night escapade she's on. My camera is set up again, not hidden this time, but standing tall in plain sight. My plan is to capture the confrontation. I don't fully understand why, but it feels like if I can document this heartbreak, maybe it'll make sense. Maybe it'll ease my confusion. When she arrives, I press record. She notices, crossing her arms. The lamp behind me casts elongated shadows across her face, giving her a haunted look. My voice breaks the silence, roughened by anger and the ghost of sorrow. Kat, do you love him? She just stares, blinking slowly. Do you still love me? Or am I a ghost to you? My voice trembles, and I realize tears prick the corners of my eyes. She says nothing. I step closer, the camera lens capturing every line of tension in her jaw. Do I matter? I whisper, half pleading. My question echoes in the hush of our living room. Still, she remains silent. The rage surges in me, but it's tempered by heartbreak. My voice rises. Answer me, damn it. Nothing. My fists tighten. She flinches slightly, though I've never raised a hand to her. That flinch kills me inside. I back away, shoulders slumping, feeling emptier than before. The camera's red light blinks like a tiny pulse, recording my humiliation. I can't keep doing this, I think. The feeling is too raw. I hit the stop button, yank the memory card out, and toss it on the coffee table. My breath comes in harsh gasps. She leaves the room, heading to the bedroom without glancing back. Days bleed into each other. My appetite disappears. I show up to work, but coworkers mention I look like I haven't slept in weeks. They don't know that my nights are spent reviewing hours of footage where Kat is practically a stranger in my own home. She used to be so open with me. Now she's a closed book in a language I never learned. The tipping point comes when I discover a brand new deposit in our joint account. A substantial sum of money that isn't from me. I confront her with the online statement, pointing at the screen. Where'd this come from? I demand. She stays silent. My chest tightens. Is Travis giving her money? Why? Guilt, manipulation, or something else? My pride crumbles further. How did we sink so low? I slump into my desk chair. A wave of nauseating helplessness washes over me. This is the final straw. I can't keep living in a house that's half infiltration site, half morgue for a dead marriage. So I get up the next morning, drive to City Hall, and request an official reversion of her last name. The clerk looks at me with mild surprise, asks some standard questions. I supply the details. I want that piece of paper that says she is no longer Catherine Harrington. I want her name off my identity. I want some form of sanity in this madness. The clerk stamps something, nods sympathetically. It feels surreal, almost bureaucratic. I stand there, remembering the day we got married, how we were both beaming as she signed Catherine Harrington for the first time. And now, I'm here, methodically erasing that bond. I walk out into the sunlight feeling neither relief nor regret, just a numb sense of finality. A week later, Kat shows up. It's late evening, and the house is cast in golden shadows from the setting sun. I'm in the kitchen, nursing a cup of coffee that's gone cold. She enters quietly, no keys jingling, no announcements. Her face is paler than usual. She's clutching a small bag of belongings, like she's been living somewhere else. Maybe Travis's place. She doesn't speak, but her eyes dart around, landing on me, then away again. She sets her bag down. I notice her hair is thinner, her skin dull, like she's been drained of life. All the glamorous accessories are gone. No fancy jewelry, no expensive makeup. She looks raw, exposed. I swallow. My voice is barely above a whisper. You came back. She nods slowly. Her silence this time feels different, vulnerable. I sense a quiet desperation in the way her fingers clutch the bag's handles. She looks at me as though I hold the only lifeline in the world. I should feel triumphant, like she's crawling back after he broke her. But mostly, I feel this hollow ache. In her eyes, I see shame, possibly fear. I recall the footage I watched, the nights she looked terrified in her sleep. Had Travis hurt her, or had she simply discovered that her fling was a dead end? Either way, I feel no satisfaction, only exhaustion. She steps closer, tugging at my shirt. I can't read her expression. Is it regret, sorrow, or both? Suddenly, A wave of conflicting emotions assaults me. Anger at her betrayal, pity for her condition, and a fierce spike of guilt. Maybe I failed to protect her from herself. From him. Maybe I wasn't enough. My heart clenches and I want to comfort her, despite every jagged piece of me that screams I shouldn't. I find myself whispering, "What happened?" She opens her mouth, and still, no sound. She just shakes her head, tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. Something in me snaps. I pull away, trembling. I remember the months of silent betrayal. The nights she returned wearing another man's shirt. The phone call about the bra. The deposit in the bank. I remember how I marched to City Hall to sever the bond. And now she's here, wanting something, but never speaking. Anger claws at my insides. My voice comes out harsher than I intend. Why now? Why come back if you won't say a damn thing? She flinches, lowering her gaze. I take a step back, swallowing the bitter taste in my mouth. A lump forms in my throat. The pity in me wants to hold her, but the anger in me wants to slam the door in her face. Instead, I step aside, letting her pass into the living room. She stands there awkwardly, like a lost child. We spend hours in an unbearable tension. I brew more coffee, then throw it out because I can't stomach it. She sits on the couch, hugging a pillow, as if she's trying to disappear. Occasionally, I catch her studying me like she wants to speak. But no words come. That stifling silence saturates the air. Finally, she nods toward me, and I interpret it as a small sign of apology or regret. But my heart is too scared to accept it outright. Eventually, she curls up on the couch and falls into a fitful sleep. I watch her for a long time, tormented by memories of better days. The first time we kissed in the backseat of my car. The day she said, "I do." The nights we cuddled watching old movies. How did we end up here? The next morning, she's still on the couch when I rise. My routine is mechanical. Shower, shave, dress in a white shirt and tie. She watches me with haunted eyes as I pour some cereal. My hand trembles, sending stray flakes across the countertop. I think of Travis. I wonder if he's looking for her, if he's calling, texting. If she's ignoring him now the way she ignored me. My phone vibrates, and my stomach turns. I check it. It's an unknown number. I swipe to answer, voice shaky. "Hello." Silence. Then Travis's baritone rumbles through the line. "Joe, man. Let her know I'm sorry. But we're done." The words are so calm, so final, I almost laugh at the absurdity. As if I'm his messenger. As if we're old friends tidying up a business deal. A wild fury surges through me. "Why don't you tell her yourself?" I hiss. He sighs. "Because she won't pick up." A beat of silence. "Look, I didn't mean for things to get so messy, all right. It was supposed to be fun, but she got attached." Fun. My hand clenches around the phone. "You destroyed my marriage for fun." My voice trembles with rage. I glance at Kat, who is sitting upright on the couch now, eyes locked on me. She can probably guess who's on the line. She doesn't move. Travis exhales heavily. "Listen, it wasn't just me. She made her choices. But it's over. I need to move on. She's got issues. Man." Then he hangs up before I can respond. My pulse pounds. I lower the phone slowly, feeling my vision blur with anger. I want to hurl the phone into the wall. Instead, I stare at Kat. Her face is pale, and she looks smaller than I've ever seen her. Maybe she heard every word. Good. Let her hear it. I cross the living room, stand in front of her. My heart is hammering so loudly I can hear it echo in my ears. He says it's over. I manage. Her face twists, and tears slip down her cheeks. But she doesn't speak. She just shakes her head as though in disbelief or heartbreak. I can't help the surge of pity that wells up in me. I hate it. I hate that I still care. I turn away, forcing my emotions down, clearing my throat. "I'm going to work," I say, voice cold. "Lock the door when you leave." I grabbed my keys, ignoring the turmoil behind her eyes, and slammed the door on my way out. The day is a blur of spreadsheets and half-hearted client meetings. My manager asks if everything is all right. I lie. After clocking out, I don't go straight home. Instead, I drive aimlessly through the streets of Los Angeles, winding past palm trees and bright billboards. My mind replays Travis's voice. She's got issues. I think of Kat's silent tears. I recall all the nights she tiptoed in with guilt in her eyes, the times she showed me the evidence of her infidelity almost deliberately. Was it some twisted cry for help? Dusk settles, painting the sky orange and purple. Finally, I head home. My heart lurches when I see Kat's car still in the driveway. Did I expect her to run back to him, or to vanish forever? A strange tension coils in my gut. Maybe tonight is the night we talk, or the night I throw her out. Inside, the house is dimly lit. She's in the kitchen, rummaging the cabinets. As soon as I step in, she glances up. Something in her posture has changed. Her shoulders are drawn, her eyes hollow. She seems unsteady. I flick on a light and notice a bruise on her forearm. Alarm floods me. I step closer, heart pounding. What happened? I breathe. She just pulls down her sleeve, hiding the bruise. A swirl of thoughts assaults me. Did Travis do this? Was there a struggle? Is that why she left him? My anger resurfaces, but it's overshadowed by concern. Are you okay? Still no words. She shrinks back as though anticipating a blow. I feel sick to my stomach. Anger flares, but not at her. At him, at myself, at this entire situation. I push a trembling hand through my hair, fighting the urge to shout. Instead, I exhale, shoulders sagging in defeat. I'm not going to hurt you, I say quietly. She nods, tears sliding down her cheeks, her silence speaking volumes. I feel my own eyes burning. I realize that somewhere along the line, we both lost. She's lost something of herself, and I've lost my faith in us. She might be battered inside, bruised by her own choices. I've been battered too, by betrayal and confusion. We stare at each other across the kitchen, the heartbreak almost tangible. In that moment, a memory flashes. The day I proposed to her on a little pier in San Diego. She'd laughed through tears, hugging me so tight I could hardly breathe. Now she stands before me, a stranger. And I realize I'm still wearing the ring on my finger, though I asked the city to strip her of my name. Something shifts inside me. I can't keep living in this limbo. I set my keys on the table, stepping closer. Kat trembles, glancing down at my hand. Slowly, gently, I take her arm, push up the sleeve to reveal the bruise. It's shaped like fingerprints. My stomach turns. My voice is raw. Tell me he did this. She doesn't move. Silent tears fall. It's answer enough. My mind reels. The protective instinct in me wars with the knowledge of her betrayal. How do I reconcile wanting to shield her with my fury over her infidelity? Pain tears through me. In a desperate whisper, I say, Kat, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. But you have to understand. I can't forgive what you did. She closes her eyes, tears clinging to her lashes, her lips pressed together, as though she might finally speak. But no words come. Instead, a strangled sob escapes her throat. I realize maybe she's silent because she's ashamed or traumatized or broken. But it's too late. My heart can't endure more. I let go of her arm and turn away. I'm sorry, I repeat. The words taste bitter, inadequate. She hovers in the kitchen, a lonely figure in the half-dark, tears tracking down her cheeks. I want to hold her. I want to shove her away. I want to scream. Instead, I stand there in that emotional purgatory, letting the silence weigh down on us both. That night, I lock myself in the bedroom with the camera. I load the memory card, rewatch old footage in a haze of insomnia. There she is, creeping into bed in that shirt that isn't mine. Her face is illuminated by the faint glow of the street lamp through the curtains. Fear, regret, longing, all etched into her features. It looks like she's a prisoner in her own life. Or maybe I'm just rationalizing. I skip ahead to the confrontation scene in the living room, where I demanded she speak and she wouldn't. I see the heartbreak in my own eyes, the raw wound of betrayal carved into my expression. My breath catches, a swirl of pity and hatred coils in my gut. I watch my reflection on the screen, watch how my fists clench at my sides. At times, I look like a man possessed by heartbreak, ready to explode. At other times, I look lost, a child searching for a reason to believe in love again. By the time I stagger out of the bedroom, the sun is creeping up. Kat is nowhere in sight. For a moment, panic wells up in me, thinking she's gone forever. But then I see her sleeping on the couch, curled up like a wounded stray, hair messy, cheeks stained with dried tears. The bruise on her arm is a stark reminder of what's happened. I lean against the wall, exhausted. Do I want her to stay? Or do I want her gone? The question haunts me. I'm afraid of the answer. Maybe I can't bear to lose her. Maybe I already have. Eventually, I do the one thing I should have done months ago. I file the divorce papers. There's no going back after that. My pen scratches across the lines. Irreconcilable differences. The words feel hollow, an understatement for this emotional wreckage. But it's the legal path. As I slide the forms into an envelope, my hands shake. I think of her on the couch, silent, regretful, bruised. And I hate myself for feeling pity. A swirling storm of guilt, anger, and sorrow drowns me. I place the envelope on the coffee table, where I know she'll see it. She's awake, perched on the edge of the couch, arms wrapped around herself. I meet her eyes for a moment. It's done, I say, throat tight. She looks at the envelope, then up at me. She opens her mouth, but there's only silence. Her eyes fill with tears. I steel myself against sympathy. I won't let myself be pulled back into false hope. Not again. She rises, crossing to me, shaky steps. Her lips quiver as she tries to form words, but still nothing comes out. She lifts her hands in a pleading gesture, tears falling freely now. My own eyes burn, but I set my jaw. It's too late, I murmur, voice like gravel. I asked the court to strip my name from you. You don't get to be Harrington anymore. The words taste bitter. She sucks in a breath, tears sliding down her cheeks. My hand trembles as I pull off my wedding ring. I place it on the table. My voice cracks. I kept hoping you'd speak, even if it was just to say you hate me, or you love me, or you're sorry. But you never did. And now, I can't do this. She stands there, tears glistening. Her eyes flick to the ring. Something in her expression begs me not to do this. But I can't hold on. Anger surges again, remembering how she turned to Travis, how she let him hold her in that club, how he marked her body, bruised her skin, and how she carried on a months-long charade while I stood by. I might feel sorry for her, but I can't forgive what we've become. I turn away, heading toward the bedroom. If you need to pack, I'll give you time, I say softly. She doesn't follow me. I'm not sure when she leaves, but sometime around midday, I hear the front door click shut. No note, no explanation, just the hollow echo of her absence. The heartbreak slices through me. I stand at the window, watching her car roll out of the driveway, and I realize there's no sense of victory in her departure, only a deep, soul-gnawing ache. Days pass. Work becomes my refuge, though I'm functioning on autopilot. Friends ask if I'm okay. I shrug them off. My parents call, wanting to know when Kat and I will come visit. I dodge their questions. At home, the silence is overwhelming, but at least it's not full of the tension we shared. The bed is too big, and I often find myself sprawling sideways just to fill the emptiness. A part of me wonders if I'll ever truly move on. The memory of her still permeates everything, her scent lingering on a pillow, the half-used bottle of shampoo in the shower. I try to remind myself of her betrayal, Try to stoke the anger so I won't drown in longing or guilt. Some nights, I dream about the club scene, about those phantom kisses under her chin, but in the dream, it's me placing them there. I wake up gasping, soaked in sweat. I'm certain it's over, until she comes back again. It's late, maybe 3 a.m, when I hear a rattle at the front door. My heart jolts. I grab a flashlight, adrenaline spiking. But it's her. She stands in the doorway, hair disheveled, eyes wild. She looks thinner, like she hasn't eaten properly in days. I'm about to yell, to ask what she's doing here, but she collapses to her knees, hugging her arms. A low whimper escapes her lips, the first sound she's made beyond tears. I rush over, flipping on the foyer light. She's trembling violently. I sense a cascade of conflicting emotions in me. Anger, fear, pity. Cat. I whisper, uncertain. She raises her eyes, tears streaming. Her silence is a desperate plea. I kneel beside her. My mind screams that I should push her out the door, protect myself from more heartbreak. But my heart can't ignore this raw pain in front of me. In halting gestures, she tries to communicate something. She points to her phone, shoves it at me. On the screen is a text chain with Travis. The final messages are vicious and hateful. You're worthless. Don't ever come back. You're trash. Each message is stabbing insult. I grit my teeth, fury hot in my veins. So that's who she ran off with. He used her, abused her, then spat her out when she became inconvenient. A fresh wave of pity washes over me. She's broken. I'm broken. And yet we're here, colliding in this lonely hour. I help her to her feet. She's shivering, eyes red and swollen. I guide her to the couch, draping a blanket over her shoulders. We sit there in silence for a long time, the clock ticking. Finally, I speak, voice quiet. You can stay tonight, but we can't just fix everything. She nods, tears slipping down her cheeks. I watch her for a moment. This woman I loved, who tore me apart. I can't read her expression. Guilt, regret, self-hatred, maybe all of it. Without thinking, I brush a tear from her cheek. She flinches slightly, then closes her eyes, leaning into my touch. I feel a pang in my chest, an echo of what we had. But I'm not the same man, and she's not the same woman. Morning finds us side by side on the couch. I must have dozed off in the early hours. She's curled against me, sleeping fitfully, her brow creased. My arm is numb from supporting her weight, but I can't bring myself to move. If I do, I'll break whatever fragile peace we have. For a moment, we appear like a normal married couple, just waking up. But that's an illusion. When she stirs, she looks up with an uncertain gaze, then shifts away. A question forms on my tongue. Why did you do it? But I don't ask. I've asked it 1,000 times in my head. I'm scared of the answer. Maybe it was passion. Maybe she felt neglected. Maybe something else entirely. None of it will undo the damage. She rubs her arms, as though remembering the bruise. I notice it's faded but still visible. The coffee maker chimes in the kitchen, reminding me I set it on an early timer. Slowly, I rise, leaving her on the couch. I return a few minutes later with 2 mugs of coffee, handing her one. She looks at me with gratitude, tears brimming again. For a moment, I see the woman I fell in love with, the one who used to smile easily and fill the house with laughter. But that woman is ghostly now, half lost in the shadows of betrayal. We sip coffee in silence. My mind replays every heartbreak, every humiliating scene I've endured. Then I recall the city hall, the divorce papers, the ring on the table. My chest tightens. I realize I have nothing left to lose. A strange calm settles over me. This is the final act of our drama, the place where we decide if there's any hope or if we part ways for good. She sets her mug down, eyes rimmed with raw emotion. A minute passes like an eternity. Then she mouths something. Her lips move but produce only air. I can't decipher it. She tries again, voice trembling. I'm sorry. The words are barely audible, a broken whisper, but they pierce the silence like a thunderbolt. My heart clenches. Finally, she speaks. I stare at her, shock mixing with anger, relief, confusion. I begin, but my throat tightens, tears burning my eyes. Why now? My tone is part accusation, part desperate question. She looks down, fresh tears falling on her lap, shoulders shaking. No further words come, but she mouths sorry once more, and something in her posture breaks. I should feel satisfied that she finally apologized. But it's hollow, because an apology doesn't rewrite the nights I spent tortured by doubt, doesn't erase the memory of her wearing his shirt, or the phone call about the bra. It doesn't change the bruise on her arm, or the deposit in our bank account, or the humiliating knowledge that my wife let another man mark her body. Bitterness wells up. You took everything from me, I say, voice cold. And for what? Fun. Excitement. Money. She shakes her head, tears streaming. She mouths something else. I was lost, or I hated myself. I can't be sure. The tension inside me reaches a fever pitch. In a rush, the words spill from me. You cheated on me in my own home, forced me to watch love rot away. You left me drowning in guilt, made me doubt my worth. Now you crawl back, bruised and broken, expecting me to. What? Forgive. Pretend it never happened. My voice grows hoarse, and she flinches at my intensity. The next breath I take is shaky, and I feel tears threatening to spill. Rage wars with pity in my chest. I tried to talk to you. You stayed silent. I rasp. Now it's too late for words. I want to be free from this pain. She covers her face with her hands, sobbing silently. My own tears slip down my cheeks, hot and bitter. The air is suffocating. I notice the camera on the mantel, gathering dust. So many hours of footage capturing my humiliation or guilt. I feel an urge to smash it, to end this twisted obsession with recorded truth. But I don't. Because some part of me believes the truth, as ugly as it is, might set me free. And that's when a realization dawns. Revenge isn't about punishing her or Travis. It's about liberating myself, letting go of the poison that's corroded my heart. I swallow hard, chest tight. Maybe that's the only path to salvage what's left of my soul. I step away from her, pacing the living room. She's sobbing into her hands. My eyes lock on the divorce papers on the table, half crumpled. I pick them up and flick my gaze back at her. I'm done. I declare, voice firm. With all of it. She glances up, tear-streaked. Something like terror flashes across her face. She knows I mean it. This is the final stroke. I sign where I need to sign, ignoring the tears that drip onto the page. When I'm finished, I set the pen down with a trembling hand. I'll file these, I say, voice quiet. You take whatever you need and go. Her body goes rigid, and for a moment, I think she might protest. But then her shoulders slump in resignation. She stands, a fragile figure who's lost her illusions, and shuffles toward the bedroom to gather whatever remains of her things. I should feel triumphant, but all I feel is numb relief. Like a prisoner who's finally accepted his sentence, my mind swirls with 100 questions. Could we have saved our marriage if we'd spoken sooner? If I confronted her differently? If she'd chosen not to betray me? But those questions will never have answers, and I'm tired of being afraid of them. I follow her to the bedroom doorway, watching her silently place clothes into a small bag. Every motion is slow, pained, as if she's wading through quicksand. She avoids my gaze, and I realize I do not hate her. Not anymore. I just need to be free. She zips the bag, slings it over her shoulder, and walks past me without a word. At the front door, she pauses. The bruise on her arm is a ghastly yellow now, half faded. She lays a hesitant hand on my forearm. I look at her. Her eyes glisten with regret. She mouths, "Forgive me," but I can't bring myself to respond. A breath shudders out of me. After a long moment, she slips out the door, leaving a hollow hush in her wake. In the final weeks, the divorce proceeds. The city clerk signs off on reversing her last name. The legal system moves swiftly enough. I move through each day in a daze, focusing on the routines that keep me afloat. Work, bills, eating the same meal for dinner over and over. I avoid the camera, even though I can't bring myself to destroy it. It sits in its bag, a silent witness to everything I've lost. Sometimes I think about Travis and feel a spark of rage. But then I remind myself, I don't want to carry that baggage forever. He might have used her, but she chose him. I am freed from both of them, so long as I release this anger. Still, at night, I wrestle with dreams of the club. The kisses under her chin, the man's shirt she wore in our bed. Those images cling to me. One morning, I wake up and notice something unexpected. A sense of calm. A sense that maybe the storm inside me has passed, or at least weakened enough that I can see a path forward. I brew coffee and gaze out the window. The sun filters in, dust motes dancing in the light. There's a hint of possibility in that sunlight, a small promise that life goes on. I grab the camera, take it to the living room, and watch a single clip. The moment I caught Kat's haunted expression as she entered our bedroom, thinking I was asleep. She looked lost, frightened. A pang of sorrow tugs at me, but I see it for what it is, an artifact of a broken marriage. I realize I can keep living in these recordings of pain, or I can let them go. So I remove the memory card, slip it in a drawer. I power off the camera. One day, maybe I'll be strong enough to delete everything. For now, storing it away is enough. I close the drawer, leaning against the desk, exhaling. In that long breath, I feel the first flicker of relief. Maybe revenge was never about punishing her or Travis. Maybe it was about breaking the chains around my heart, about standing on my own 2 feet, walking away from the wreckage, and believing I can find peace again. She will carry her regrets, and Travis will continue living his shallow conquests. As for me, I'm done waiting for them to face consequences that will never undo the past. My time is now. I step outside, letting the early sunlight wash over my face. The world still spins, cars still pass, neighbors still wave as they retrieve their morning papers. Life goes on. And so must I. Perhaps it's not the happily ever after I imagined on our wedding day. It's not even close. But there is a strange, potent clarity in accepting the truth. I close my eyes, breathing in the day. Do I forgive her? Can I ever forget what happened? I don't know. Maybe in time. But for now, I am alive, free, and done lying to myself. I am more than her betrayal. And that knowledge, it's the only retribution I truly need, because revenge isn't a reckoning. It's a liberation, and I am at last liberated.